Hey y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. So you have heard me whine on and on and on about our broken library system. If you haven't, our library system got hacked. We have lost all of our card catalog and all of our ability to use our accounts. So we cannot request books. We cannot use a card catalog and look up books. We cannot see what books we even have checked out. That's a whole nother subject. But at any rate, it's making the library very difficult to utilize. We're still going, and I had told the kids, hey, it's summertime. Usually in the summertime, we don't go to the library as much. For one, it is packed, it is busy. For two, we try and read through a lot of the books that we have. And for three, we try not to take a ton of library books on things like vacations, outside, near the pool, stuff like that, because sometimes stuff gets messed up. So a lot of the times when they're packing books, if we're going on a trip or something, I'm like, hey, pack books you already have. That way, maybe take a library book or two, but not all library books. That way, in case your bag gets wet or something happens, we're not having to pay for like 4 library books. At any rate, today we went in the library, and I think all of us were a little like library deprived because the last couple trips we've just dropped stuff off. We haven't had time to really go in, and it's really hard to search. The location that we normally go to is harder to search than others. The one we went to today is a little easier to find some of the stuff we're looking for, so we took advantage, and by that I mean we got a lot of freaking books, y'all. A lot. So I'm going to run through them. So we'll start here, okay? This is the very first Survivors series book. So this is Erin Hunter, the same author as you've seen plenty times, my son with the Warriors books. He reads on and on and on this series and has read on and on and on for years in this series because there's so many books. This is where it all started. He has talked his sister into starting these books. So I'm not sure how much she's going to love them. I'm not sure if it will be on the same level for her, but this is where it all began. So it will be interesting to see if I have years and years and years of Survivors and Warriors coming again. It's always kind of fun to see the books come full circle like that. This is another Warriors one that he got, and another Warriors one that he got. And I know there's another one in here because it's something to do with, I guess it's the Broken Code, is another like sub-series or whatever within the Warrior series, and he hasn't been able to find them at the other libraries. So yeah, this is 1, 2, and 3, and he's like, I'm just getting them all and I'll read them. Okay. So luckily when we check out books from our library, we can keep them for like 6 weeks. So he has more than enough time to delve into and read those. Another one that he was like, hey, I didn't know there was another sub-series of this, is The Ranger's Apprentice. This is The Royal Ranger. These are by John Flanagan. This is another series that he's read the main series. He's read the sub-series. This is like the sub-series. But, so this is, I'm going to assume, this is book 6 and 7. So maybe these are just more in the sub-series that he didn't know existed. Whatever, he was excited to get them because he was like, I didn't even know these were a thing. So, this was one for my daughter. This is Survival Scout Lost in the Mountains by Maxwell Eaton III. I talked about how she had read a graphic novel recently and didn't love it. Now, this is a graphic novel series that she started last year and has loved. These are like, there's this girl, and this was the first one in the series. It's Lost in the Mountains. So she gets separated from her brother somehow. I believe they're supposed to be in the mountains together. And she gets separate. And it's all about survival skills. Like, what should I do? Should I, go off farther into the woods? What should I eat? What should I drink? All these other things. And it's really well done. So she also just got, 2 weeks ago, the second one in this, which is Tsunami, Survival Scout Tsunami, and read that one and totally enjoyed it. That's why she went back and wanted to read this one. Now there's a new one. I don't remember what it is. It's Survival Scout something. But she wants to get her hands on that one. They didn't have it. So that's why she's like, I'm just going to go back and read this one. You love it? Whatever. Now, my son got this, same thing. It was just a shelf pull, right? You see it, you pull it, you read it, because that's pretty much what we're doing at our library right now since we cannot request or do anything else. This is Conservation Canines, How Dogs Work for the Environment. So he really loves anything to do with rescue dogs, helper dogs, all of those things, right? And this is all about that. So it's different dogs that are working in different areas. A brief history on working dogs, wildlife guardians, a nose for conservation, dogs saving the wild, dogs and humans, partners in conservation are the different chapters. So should be pretty interesting. This is by Isabelle Groc. Um, and it looks like it has some really good pictures and fun stuff in it. So I think this will be right up his alley. I will let y'all know. My daughter got this. So this summer we always kind of do this, but I'm trying to do it with more intention this year, of them having a fiction book going, like a regular book, and a nonfiction book going at the same time, and reading them at like certain times of the day. Like, okay, you're going to go read your nonfiction book for 30 minutes. You're going to read your fiction book for 30 minutes, and being more intentional with it versus just saying, hey, make sure you get a nonfiction book and read it when you want to, kind of a thing. So this one it's called A Meerkat Diary, A Journey into the Wild World of a Meerkat Mob. So this is by Suzi Eszterhas. Hopefully I didn't completely butcher that. But it's basically a diary of, I'm not sure if it's a photographer or a scientist. I'm going to guess both. Living and observing a meerkat habitat. So it looks like she's in Botswana. It says, my name is Suzi last name, and I'm a wildlife photographer who specializes in taking pictures of animals and their young. So looks like she's a photographer. But yeah, it looks super, super interesting. Looks like it gives you not only information on the meerkats themselves, but also on like the native people of that area and some of the different animals that are like their predators and stuff. This looks really cool. I may end up having my son read this one as well. So like I said, trying to be a little more intentional with that this summer. And it looks like there's also a leopard diary, Moto and Me and My Wild Life, which is, I'm assuming, her talking about her journeys as a photographer. So this seems really cool and seems something that I would like to expand on. Okay. And then the last three are for me. Same thing. I have some series that I would like to continue. They don't have the books at the two libraries that are close to me. Like, this is a very big county system, but they don't have them. I could order them and pay for them, but they're not I don't want to buy book 2 of a series. I've already read book 1. So they did not have them the other day when we went to the used library. So I may be calling around to different libraries and seeing if they have it on the shelf, and if I happen to be in that part of the county, trying to grab them. But overall, a very frustrating situation. Okay, now, so I just read Lynette Eason's Life Flight. Oh, I don't know why, but out here we say life light and the F falls out of it. And I know that in other parts of the country, that's not how y'all say it. So I don't want to sound stupid and say life light without the F. So life flight. But anyway, that was a good book. It gripped me. It was interesting. This is another book by her, Double Take. It's called the Lake City Heroes book. And it's basically, it's a physician who somebody's out to murder her. She thinks it may be her ex, but she's not 100% sure. She's got to work with the local detective. This is the same thing. It's a Christian suspense series. So I have no doubt that she's probably going to get shipped with the detective, and that's okay, because at least I know what I'm getting. So I'm hoping that this one is as gripping as her other book that I just recently read. This is another Lynette Eason. Okay, so this is the second book in that came after Life Flight. This is follows another FBI agent. So the first one followed an FBI agent and the Life Flight pilot. This is about another FBI agent and people around her. So it's not going to have the rescue pilot aspect. So I don't know if I'm going to love it as much, which is why I got some other options, because I may like it, I may not. That's the hard thing with the Christian suspense, the way they jump. And like one book is about this man and this woman and their situation. And then they get shipped. And then the next book is about a new man and a woman. And it's like, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. It depends how they form the jump. If they give me information on the people from the past books and it kind of is along the same lines, I like it. If it's just like, oh, they're gone, moving on, I don't like it so much. So we'll see. But there's that one. And then the last one, this was strictly a shelf pull that I was looking for something else because, like I said, I'm intrigued by this one, Double Take, and I'm not sure I'm going to like this one. And I know we're not going to be back at the library in the next week or so, so I wanted another option. This is On Moonberry Lake by Holly Varney. Now, this one says a novel, so I'm going to assume that this is not a series. Basically, a woman goes back to see her grandparents' lodge and finds out that she has essentially inherited it, but it comes with a catch. I'm assuming something like usual, that they have to stay there for a certain amount of time to inherit it. I don't know all the details. I'm just guessing. But there's also some other things going on in the background. So I'll be interested to see. I think this is a Christian novel because when I opened it, it said that anywhere in this Bible where it is quoted, it is assumed to be taken from this version of the NIV, da da da. So I'm going to assume that this is a Christian fiction novel, and that's kind of where I've been living lately because, like I've discussed in some of my videos, I'm just not loving some of the things that are being pushed at me in other books and pushed really hard. So I've stepped away from like mainstream type fiction for a minute. I will go back, I always do, but I need a book that essentially I can trust and that I can go into knowing I'm not going to have a very large agenda pushed at me that I don't necessarily agree with. And I'll leave it at that. But, so I think we've got some good reading coming up. I did not intend on getting this many books. I figured like a book or two a person, we're out the door. No, we were there for like an hour and we all got a lot of books. And that's a good thing. That's more in line with what we normally do at our library. We just haven't been able to be in our library habit like we have before. So if y'all have any series that you are looking forward to reading for summer, like this one, it seems, now granted she's wearing a coat, but it seems like it takes place maybe in a warm spot. This one, something about it made me think that it wasn't set in the cold. I'm kind of not necessarily searching for that summer read. I did that last summer. It wasn't a lot of fun. I read a lot of books that I didn't enjoy. But I would like books that are based in the summertime and or warm. Like all winter, I read books that were based on mountains in Montana and Alaska and stuff like that, and that's great for the wintertime. But I'm ready for some warm weather, y'all. So if you have any recommendations along those lines, please, please, please leave them down for me. If you have read any of these books that we're fixing to read, let me know. Would love to hear what y'all are going to read this summer. And until next time, y'all go read a lot.